Hello, everyone. Today I'm just going to read a quick article. U.S. should be terrified of government cover-up CIA whistleblower who said she's been hit with direct energy weapons, aka Havana syndrome, which I call target individual syndrome because long before people in Havana were experiencing this, target individuals everywhere were experiencing this. U.S. should be terrified of government cover-up CIA whistleblower. A CIA whistleblower said that Americans should be terrified of alleged government gaslighting of former intelligence employees who believe they've been struck down by targeted individual syndrome, the medically or Havana syndrome, medical term for it, because they think it all started in Havana when these weapons have been tested out for years elsewhere. The medically retired CIA officer spoke anonymously with investigative journalist Catherine Heritage about her experience with the debilitating mystery disorder and how the authorities have treated her since. Speaking under the pseudonym Alice, the former CIA employee said she spent 2 years in government service and began experiencing Havana syndrome, also known as anomalous health incidents. The syndrome is a disputed medical condition by a cluster of U.S. and Canadian government officials who were based in around a dozen overseas locations, which started among employees in Havana in 2016. Symptoms include dizziness, cognitive problems, insomnia, and headaches. Sound familiar, targets? The most prominent theory is that it is caused by pulsed electromagnetic energy and ultrasound emanating from sonic weapons. Alice told Heritage her injuries are so debilitating she relies on a service dog. She needed several breaks during the interview and wore dark tinted glasses to shield her eyes from the studio lighting. I was serving in Africa and I experienced an anonymous health incident in my home on a Saturday night. Alice told Heritage. I heard a weird noise. It was a really weird sound that I'll never forget. Never forget. And after about a second or two, I felt it in my feet, kind of like a reverb from a speaker. And there's pictures. There's the pictures of the supposed weapon, one of the sonic weapons that could cause targeted individual, aka Havana syndrome, is said to be a smaller version of this 1990 Soviet microwave generator, which is kept at the University of New Mexico. And that's in the 1990s. It's now 2024. I'm sure they've made, just like computers, made a lot smaller versions. Alice said she went to the master bedroom to ask her partner whether he could hear the off-putting noise too. I said, "Hey, do you hear that weird noise?" And the first sign that something was off, I should have known, was when he said, "What noise?" Why what noise? Because if you put two cell phones side by side and you call one number's going to ring. Why one phone's going to ring? Why? Because everybody's got different DNA, everybody's got different um, neural signatures. So if I dial up somebody's neural signature to attack them with a frequency, they're the only ones that's going to get hit with the frequency. Alice went back to where she heard the noise. Immediately, as soon as I re entered the space, I heard the noise again, she said. My ears started hurting. I was starting to have vertigo. The room was spinning. My head started pulsing. It hurt so badly I had a ton of pain in my left ear. My ears started ringing and I thought I was going to pass out. Funny, I've had a lot of them incidents lately and all through my lifetime since 2015 to be exact. Okay, Alice said she believes several different concealed weapons could be behind the strange systems experienced by herself and many of her colleagues, by adding that she thinks Moscow's to blame. Moscow's to blame, huh? Always blaming it on Russia. Oh no. So is this another psyops to throw us off task of who's really doing it? Or is this the truth? Who knows? I think there are weapons that can be fit in backpacks, one that can be fit in the trunks of cars, one that can be planted at a position with a line of sight to people from across the street, she said. I believe the Russian military intelligence came to my house late at night and took me off the battlefield, she added. That's up to y'all to believe if it's disinformation or not. Um, I personally cannot answer that for a fact, but through my research, it says it's not the Russians. Asked if her old self died the day she experienced an AHI, Alice responded a little bit. I was paid for my brain. I was paid for my ability to write well for the president. I was paid to meet with foreigners, get information that would help advance U.S. security objectives, and I can't do that anymore the way I used to. And it's really, that's one of the hardest parts. Here is the medical term for Havana syndrome, the medical mystery name for Cuban city where U.S. diplomats first experienced sudden debilitating symptoms in 2016. Ain't it funny? Diplomats get compensated, but victims that have been victims long before Cuban, the people, diplomats in Cuba don't get no compensation. So you got to be a diplomat to get compensated, I guess. Acute symptoms often occur loud sounds, sometimes chirping, screeching, pain in both ears. Many felt from the sensations came from a particular direction when felt in a specific location. Tinnitus, hearing loss, intense pressure, vibration inside the head, difficult with memory and concentration, visual disturbances. Hold on 1 second. Now it tells them. Okay. Let's see. Intense pressure inside the head, difficult with memory or concentration. Visual disturbances, nausea, unsteady gait, loss of balance, vertigo, dizziness. I know we've all felt this. Chronic symptoms can last weeks, months longer. Headache, impaired concentration, memory loss, insomnia, depression, impaired balance. No definitive cause has been found, but scientific studies have noted many of the acute symptoms are consistent with exposure to direct radio frequency energy. One theory posts the U.S. use of RF energy by U.S. adversaries as a weapon or tool of espionage. Adding insult to injury, Alice said the CIA has been gaslighting her and other AHI survivors in the years since making them question their own injuries. We swore this oath every day. I watched them really continue to deny people's humanity and their injuries, she told Heritage. People that put themselves and their families on the line in the horribly dangerous places and situations to protect this country. Speaking about the intelligence agencies, she added, if they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? It's a cover up and it's terrifying, should be terrifying to all Americans. Heritage said the Labor Department does list Alice's traumatic brain injury, or TBI, as a work injury, and she qualified for compensation through the Havana Act, but nowhere near enough to cover medical experiences. It's a full time job to try to get in treatment, and it's another full time job to try to handle the bureaucracy of trying to access benefits, she said. I've gone over $100,000 out of pocket. And there's Havana syndrome occurrences worldwide. Wow, they left the whole state of America. I mean, look, you see that? They got Washington D.C. right here. The the law near the White House. Two things in America. Come on, now it's happening all over America. Alice said AHI survivors need specialized care that's not covered by usual medical insurance. It says, look at all this disinformation. I'm not even going to read it. What is Havana? The mysterious illness that started in the U.S. Embassy. Wow. Started way before that. They've been testing weapons on us, on non consensual citizens for years now, for as long as I can remember. And I will be covering in one of my next videos a targeted individual documentation that happened in the 60s and 70s. So anyway, it says at least 200 cases across the government are now in investigation. What about across the world? So anyway, this article has really made me sick to my stomach. And who knows? Is the whistleblower blaming it on Russia because she was told to? Or is Russia involved? You come to your own conclusion. But through my research, it's not Russia at all. God bless all TIs, anybody suffering from these direct energy attacks or this non consensual experimentation or this revenge torture, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're going through right now, God bless you. I pray for peace and I pray for healing of your brain and whatever illnesses that have been caused by this stuff.